So now it's time for gold here in Den Bosch in a compound open mixed team event. And it's China versus Russia. China came through the ranking round with a 1381 to be ranked first and took out Brazil and then Italy. Russia a 1369 in the ranking round to be ranked 6th, and they took out Great Britain and Iran to give us our gold medal match. Let's welcome China and Russia out onto the range here in the Netherlands.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the athletes to the field of play for the compound open mixed team gold medal match.
China lead us out. The 29-year-old Zhou Jiamin teams up with the 22-year-old Xinliang. Both of them have been on the field of play here in Den Bosch.
Yeah, and this was the pairing that won mixed team gold at the Rio 2016 Paralympics. They're an experienced pair, they're a fun pair, and they're a very, very good pair.
Their opponents are Russia. The 29-year-old Stepanida Artakhinova and Bair Shigaev, the 36-year-old. Artakhinova is the world number 1. He's an individual bronze medalist at the London 2012 Paralympic Games. But Shigaev looks very confident here.
Quite a lot of archers who've arrived for the World Championships next week, sitting in the stands, getting a feel for this finals arena that they will be using as well.
Yeah, that's coming up next weekend. Of course, the qualification rounds, elimination knockouts are throughout the coming week.
Yeah, they actually have official practice tomorrow while we have the recurve finals here at the Para World Championships. The qualification starts on Monday.
Well, here we go. It's time for gold here in Den Bosch in the mixed team event. Russia, shooting first, face China.
10.
Bit of a long hold there for Artakhinova, but she didn't really affect her.
It's nothing out of the normal. Yeah, compound archers hold longer than recurve or W1 archers because compound is all about that aiming long, aiming accurately, and making sure you're over the middle when you execute your shot.
Good sighter there from I. A little bit of movement.
8.
So we saw Bair lift his hand up at the end of that shot to indicate that his teammate could start her routine, but again, it was part of the release. He's not finishing his shot completely before starting to lift his arm.
Well, a 10 required here to keep things all square.
10.
And that's just what is landed, 36 apiece. And Christian, you talked about raising the hand. They're raising their hand because that's the equivalent to stepping off the line for pedestrian archery. And what you're saying is the raising of the hand is an indication that their teammate can start to begin their process of drawing the arrow from the quiver and drawing it through the bow and taking their shot. So what you're saying is they're not completing the shooting process before they provide the signal to move on.
Yeah, correct. And we see it in able-bodied archery as well. The archers in able-bodied archery have to shoot their shot and then step back over the 1 meter line before the next archer can proceed to the shooting spot. In para archery, instead of stepping over the line, they have to raise their hands and give an indication to the judge that they are complete, so that their teammates can begin. The issue comes when that subconscious process of raising the hand or stepping over the line kind of begins before the shot is finished, because any little deviation or that point of execution
affects your process.
Affects how the arrow flies, affects where the arrow lands.
It's an interesting nuance that's very specific to para archery. So start of the second end here. The gold medal match. Russia shot first in the first end, and with the things all square, they shoot first again.
10.
Oh, that one's gone into the same hole as he shot his first arrow in the first end.
10.
And we spoke about building up that picture of a group per archer during the length of a team match. It's much easier in the mixed team because there are two faces, and usually each archer will take one face. So the arrow holes on one target face are the arrow holes from one archer, so you can visually see that group and where your arrows are landing.
9.
Well, Russia have a chance to exert more pressure here.
Nine.
And here's a very good example of that. Artakhinova's arrows were landing in a line. Their left right is perfect, but they're in a line. So our height's just a little bit off, and she can see that in the group.
10.
That's more like it from China. Whatever happens here, they're going to be trailing. The question is by how many?
10.
And it reduced the deficit to just a single point here. And that's a good shot from Xinliang. But Russia have taken the lead here by just a single point. And the two tens right at the beginning of that second end from them really did put the pressure on. This one is the one just to the left. I think the first one was in fact marked as an X. Looking pretty focused. Artakhinova on the right. Shigaev on the left in the chair. They lead by just a single point here at the halfway stage of this gold medal match. The last one of the team event today. as you said, Chris, all 4 teams in the medal matches have qualified teams at the Paralympic Games in Tokyo next year.
Yes, and in this particular competition, the compound discipline, there's quite a lot of spaces available for individuals as well. There are 20 individual spaces for compound men available and 8 for compound women. So the qualification list for this category is quite long after Den Bosch.
Start of the third end.
9.
China trailing by a single point going into it. We'll have the honour of shooting first. A 9 for Zhou.
10.
I appreciate that both Zhou and I have got white bows, matching teammates, matching gear.
Nine. 10. 10.
So shooting first in the second half of this end gives China to put a bit of pressure on Russia, and we actually seen that today, making a difference with the team trailing, shooting first, getting a big score,
9.
and their opponents crumbling.
We saw it in Zhou Jiamin's last match in the finals arena. She sprung the 3 last arrows that took China to victory in the team event over Great Britain.
Nine.
So now a 10 required from Artakhinova to draw level in this end.
10.
And she gets it. 38-38 out of a potential 40 for both teams is good shooting. But it means Russia maintain the 1-point lead going in to the 4th and final end.
Artakhinova does have limited mobility in her legs, but can still walk, doesn't use a wheelchair, so she's the only person we've seen wandering off the line in between ends as the agents collect the arrows and the judges score.
She's been shooting it really well as well. In fact, here are her 2 10s in that end. There's an X and a 10. X is the very, very centre ring. And at 50 metres, hitting the X is what, akin to hitting a ping pong ball, I guess, in the middle of the target?
Yeah, about that size.
So the crucial final end of the gold medal match here in the compound open mixed team event in Den Bosch. China trailing by a point will shoot first.
9. 10.
10. Pressure on now.
9.
So all square. Well, that's marked as a 10 there, right? It's been marked back down. All square in this end with 1 arrow left from each archer. And that 9, just to add a little bit more tension, has been
9.
marked for a measure.
That's opened the door somewhat for Russia.
I will be looking for a 10 here, and that's exactly what he gets. But 2 10s, and the gold medal is Russia's. A 10 and a 9, and a favourable measure, and the gold medal is Russia's.
A 10 and a 9 and they'll win.
8.
Now a 10 is absolutely required here to make sure they at least level on points before the measure.
It's a 9.
This is exactly what happened in
So
the compound women's final.
Wins, but we have an arrow.
Well, this is really tense now because China, by the score, have taken the lead and won this gold medal. But that second arrow from Russia is subject to a measure, and if it gets marked up, they'll be all level. Chris, your thoughts? We can't quite hear the judge.
From the angle of the shaft, I think it's just out. I think China will take this. I think it's exactly the same as Zhou Jiamin's previous gold medal in the women's team event.
It's very close.
And there was a fist up from the Chinese team.
Yeah, and there it is. The target judge confirming that the win coming from behind goes to China. They are the world champions in the Open Mixed Team event here in 2019.